Why? Why?
Then they get to ask themselves that important question, why?
Hello, everyone. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Why podcast. Today, we have a friend of mine on the podcast. He's a coworker, an entrepreneur, and more importantly, a creative god. So from Pace University to college is a scam. Please welcome my friend, Phil.
What an introduction. Wow.
Right? It was pretty good.
I don't know how to follow that, really.
I definitely spent a minute on it, not going to lie.
Appreciate that.
Of course.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you're on.
So excited.
Yeah, this is great. No, I feel like we bounce off each other really well. So this is going to be like a really wonderful podcast. But tell me a little bit about yourself, Phil. Who are you?
Who am I? I don't even know sometimes. No, but I hail from the state of Connecticut, from a town called Stamford, born and raised. I attend Pace. I'm a business management major. I double minor. Officially this semester switched to a minor in digital marketing, and I kept my major or my minor in digital media. I switched from psychology because I was like, I took Psych 101. I was just like, you can only learn so much about borderline personality disorder.
Literally.
But yeah, I'm an avid creator. I love to make stuff. Went to high school. I went to trade high school. I didn't go to regular high school.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I went to a trade high school. And
I did know that.
my trade was digital media. So literally, this is something I've wanted to do forever.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, so tell me a little bit about what you've done, like some of your creative like pieces, and then we'll kind of go more into like what our topic's going to be today. But I know you've done a lot of like different projects throughout the years. So give me a little blurb.
Well, I think that through high school, it was a lot of just things that were related to school. When I was part of the first class, so going into like 2014, 2015, where social media was really reaching its peak in terms of, we still had Vine going into high school. Instagram was when Instagram was really nice and was good. Just Facebook, YouTube. That's when I feel like a lot of digital content things were really starting to take form, and we were really entering the digital age, and everything was going digital by then. So from high school, really just I made my high school Snapchat geotag, was a part of a high school documentary, started a t-shirt fundraiser. So my first experience really designing was making t-shirts that benefited breast cancer awareness, because all the high schools in the area, they did pink outs. And since we were a new high school, there was we really hadn't have a culture. There was nothing really going on. We were the first class. So to really set the tone, I was like, why don't we do that? I took the liberty, started designing, and from there, that's actually where I thought, I think I could do this for a career. And I think I might approach, designing, because I can use my skills and creativity to not only for monetary gain, but it can help a lot of people. So I actually was originally not going to go into specific general business. I was going to go into healthcare administration, because I was really interested in how hospitals were run. And I wanted to sort of come up with nice and innovative ways to approach healthcare and healthcare design, which is actually what my sister's doing now.
Oh, cool.
So she was a nurse. Well, she is a nurse. She got her master's, and then she was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to design school. So if anything, I get it from her.
Probably genetic, right?
So that's virtually me. Then going into college, that's sort of freshman year into sophomore year, I took a little bit of a creative hiatus, really getting accustomed to being at school and being in New York, where it was a creative mecca. But through time, I was just like, I can't stay stagnant. I need to start making stuff. So that's where the creative origin really came to fruition.
I love creative origin.
This is where I am now.
Yeah, tell me. I know we have to get into more stuff than this, but I think it's so interesting. I've been following it for a really long time. And tell me, like, what is the creative origin? Or tell
So
the audience, whatever.
yeah, of course.
Right.
So again, this starts back in high school. Part of the trade, all of us together,
Mhm,
I call this D14 Productions
mhm,
because we're all a part of the program, and we're learning the Adobe Suite. We learn live TV production, photography, cinematography, all of that.
mhm.
So I call this the group, the collective. We were called D14 Productions. I remember making a intro, all that jazz. But you know, not everyone was on board with being there, sort of. So the energy wasn't, nah, when
Yeah.
you're going 100, not everyone's gonna match your energy. So that sort of fell off. But I always knew that I wanted to create a organization, or not just an organization, but build something with a group of my friends.
Mhm,
So originally I had called this Friends Incorporated, and it was supposed to be just my friends, and we all put ourselves together. We make a bunch of cool stuff, and hopefully it becomes something.
mhm,
But it wasn't up until really this year where I was approached by a couple friends with their actual businesses, and I said, let's make something, let's create something. And then I got in contact with a bunch of my other friends, and I was just like, yo, you're an amazing creative. Come together with this other group of us, and let's see if we can get something going. And then
mm.
from there, that's sort of where it was born.
I love it. It's so cool. I know like a couple of the kids in it too, and it's so incredible when you can get so many different creative people like all together. Like the magic you guys can make is just it's incredible. I love following along with it. It's so fun. But all right, so we'll start with the question. So as we know for the podcast, I always start with like a general question, and then we kind of just go into a rant about whatever we're talking about. But to kind of play along with why, today we're going to talk a little bit about how has COVID affected our creative process, and as both of us in different ways are creative, people, I guess. How has it had an influence on our creative process? So Phil, take it away. Like, how has it been for you with COVID?
For me, I would say at the beginning, it was hard to become accustomed to what was going on in the world. It was really stressful
Mm,
at some points where, hey, we're gonna be staying at home for a little bit longer than we expected, and you're gonna have to finish your semester, do all that, and keep your sanity while also trying to stay alive. So I think that for me, especially with COVID, I found time to write a lot.
mhm.
Being in your room for 24 hours at a time, you figure that you can just start writing and putting all that thoughts in your head and just put it to paper. But the creative process, I think that it helped a lot. I always say that I'm very fortunate to say I was, how can I say it? Like, I'm fortunate that I wasn't affected to the extent in comparison to a lot of other people.
I feel that too.
And
Yeah.
I'm blessed, and I'm very grateful for that.
Mhm.
So for me, creating was just, get on your computer, you have an idea for something, make it and post it.
Mhm.
I found that that was one of the best ways to cope, especially with what was going on. If I'm not grabbing my camera, going to the park, taking pictures, or
Mhm.
taking pictures in the house, recording videos. I've had so many different mini clips of just me in my house doing a bunch of random things, taking slow motion pan shots of. I had my uh, diffuser, and I was just
Oh yeah.
taking slow mo clips of, like, that's how I got. So I
That's
think
so
that while the times were very tough, it was a good time for me to really get into who I am as a
mm,
creator and figure out what I'm really interested in, what I wanted to do. So I think that personally, the creative process never ended. If anything, really picked up once COVID started.
yeah, that's so interesting. I think for me, like right when it happened, I like my mom's a neat freak and I don't have a lot of room in my room to like paint and just do like when I was in college, I could just like destroy my desk. It didn't matter, but I can't do that here. There's no space for it. but also having that time to yourself, like you really learn to cope with things differently, and having a creative like outlet has been so incredible. I also feel like I've grown as an artist and as just a person too. Like I started this podcast and I start these random projects. It's like, why the hell not? Like you really see how like life is so short. It's like, why would I not just start something, you know?
I always say that you have nothing to lose in this life but your soul.
Oh,
So why not make
so
the
true.
best out of everything and just send it, do it.
Just do it, right?
Just
Our one of our, what is it, chief creative directors of the club that we're a part of, he said that in a quote in our last meeting last night, where it was like, man, I wish I had made something, like I'm so, what was the quote?
The quote was you want to be someone that creates something. Actually, I want to pull that up because I think that's a really good quote.
It's a great quote, but that just made me think of it. Like Nike knew what they were doing, man. They were so smart about that. Ugh, it's such a good quote.
I think it was something along the lines.
It's like I want to make an idea that people wish they had thought of, or something like that.
Yeah, I want to.
I know, we're both like, what was it? It was right there.
I've got it right now. It was a quote by Frank Chimero. I said that right. Good design is all about making other designers feel like idiots because the idea wasn't theirs.
Exactly.
Philosophical.
Nike
Jacob.
does
Outdone yourself.
Yeah, I mean, and that's really, just do it is exactly how I feel about that. I'm like, wow, they hit that like right on the head of the nail. Like they really knew what they were doing. But no, yeah, it's been, I feel like at first COVID took me a step back, but I don't know, having that time alone too is really nice as well. What do you feel like what part of the creative process has helped you the most, like coping through just everything 2020 has thrown at us? Because it's just been like such a weird year with everything going on. And then COVID too.
I think for me specifically, the thing that's helped me the most with coping is just putting my idea and making it something tangible. I think that when you conceptualize something, if you don't make it, or if you don't at least attempt to make it, then it's so difficult and it more than likely you just won't see it through. So I think that for me was just, if I had the idea, it could be I was in bed 3 a.m. I'd get up and just make something in Photoshop.
Yeah, because you
Like
could.
that was just sort of how I was feeling. Like I couldn't go out, couldn't do anything, couldn't interact with you. So the best way to was just pour all my creative energy into something, make something on Photoshop, and call into bed and go right back to sleep.
Yeah, no, that's so true. Where do you think you're gonna go from here? Because like you're staying home next semester, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're like definitely.
Save that money because whoa, no way.
Very, very true. It looks like I'm probably gonna stay home next semester too, since COVID's not getting better. So, but yeah, what do you think, you're gonna just kind of keep doing what you're doing, stay creative, or do you have any like big projects coming up? Are they, top secret?
For me, I think that going into this winter, it's going to be, you heard the term surgical summer. It's going to be surgical winter for me, where I'm going to be trying to give 110%. I felt like school was my biggest hindrance in the creative process.
I feel that.
Like, it wasn't really COVID, it was school. Because I felt like I was obligated, I need to get this stuff done. And when instead of, where I could, in the summertime, I would just make a bunch of stuff, and I know that I didn't have anything that was due. Now I'm literally in class, and I'm just like, oh wow, I have a project due, I gotta finish this.
Yeah.
So now I really cannot wait for this winter. There's a lot of things company-wise within the creative origin that we have planned, really focusing on really honing in on Scammer University and everyone else's brands and doing more. Just trying to be as putting our eggs in so many different baskets and trying to accomplish so much before we inevitably have to go back to school.
Yeah, preparing to go back, right? Because you're a junior, correct? Yeah, so you have a whole nother year to like go back to school and be like, hey, look at all this stuff I did.
Oh yeah.
I'm
actually not that mad about that. I feel like if I was doing all this into my senior year or leaving college, I would feel a little bit more pressured to sort of get stuff done. But I feel like this gives me more time to really hone in on what I'm trying to accomplish, what I want to do, and it's really giving me time to perfect my craft. So before I'm out into the real world, keep trying, keep testing different things, and make the best out of it.
Yeah, why not learn every skill you could possibly learn? I've been doing the same thing. I actually right here I'm learning how to do my own nails, because it's like, why not? Like, why not learn everything you can learn? And why would you ever want to like depend on someone else to do it? We have all this time. And like my friend Matt used to say this all the time, where it's like, why not invest your money in something like this? We don't pay rent. You barely pay money for food. Like, we have no financial responsibilities for the most part. We might have some here and there, whatever they are, but like, this is the time to start a company, to start whatever you want.
Oh yeah.
I love that. We're both a part of a club called AMA, which is American Marketing Association. And you and I are both on the e-board of the creative department, which is
creative department.
Yeah, love it. I love the creative department. It's honestly, like, I thought about that the other day. There's no way I could be on any other department. I would have like freaked out. Like me writing papers.
I commend everyone in executive, everyone in national.
Oh my
They do all of the work, realistically.
They really do.
We just make it look pretty. We make all their hard work look pretty. So, I think it's a win.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like fun. You get credit for doing something you like. Like, it's awesome. Yeah. I'm like, this is what my job should be. I got it now. But yeah, it's been awesome. And you and I have had like a lot of it, I guess, just time with AMA, because I feel like we meet with the club kind of a lot. Were you on the e-board before this year?
No, this was actually my first year.
Yeah, this is my first year on the e-board too. And this is technically really my first year in AMA. I joined AMA when I was a freshman, but I like never went to the meetings. I was just wicked lazy about it, naturally. Love that. And so now being on the e-board, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like addicted to this. I could do AMA for like ever. It's so, I love like clubs like this, though. It's so much fun. But how has like the creative process been for you, and like balancing everything while also being on an e-board of a club? And you're on an e-board of another club too.
Actually, president of another organization.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So like, what is all that like?
Man, I think that going into this year, I really put myself, I was like, yo, you want to challenge yourself, do all this and start as much as you want, like do everything. So I think that previously going into junior year before COVID, I was really excited to start in being a part of all this, but just putting everything online brought it into a whole new dynamic. Like speaking for Uplift, I think that trying to start a new organization and building, when you're on campus, when you're like the first week or first couple of weeks, it's you go to the campus activities fair, you go see the clubs, you get to interact with people. People are like, they get to see your vibe, they get to catch your vibe, and they're like, yeah, this seems like this is an awesome club, so I'll join. Realistically, that's how a lot of the time, that's how I joined a lot of other organizations. It's because they got me there, and then I was just like, yeah, you guys are awesome. So putting that all online brought a set of whole new challenges when it comes to recruiting and engagement. It was super tough. For the most part, a lot of the meetings, it was mostly e-board and, one or two people. But I think that it was a great learning, it was a learning experience.
Oh, yeah.
It was very unique, especially as an organization. I think that really sets the tone and really shows where we can build and where we can go. I think that it challenges us to be more creative. It challenges us to try harder to do things. Like I love the challenge. I'm a challenge person. I love when things get difficult. I think that, I love the phrase that pressure makes diamonds. And I truly believe that. I'm all for the difficult times. I'm all for it.
These are the best times, yeah. Yeah, because you learn the most, and then it really, like, I always said that too. Like, if you can perfect something when it's like the worst situation, like it's in the hardest part of whatever it is, and you're good at that, you can do anything. That's one of the reasons I went to New York. I was like, the hardest city, in the world. Like, bring it on. That's all you got. Like, And now New York City is like a piece of cake, right?
Yeah. It's like, I'm chilling. Walk around, get some Joes, walk around with some Joes in my hand. I'm chilling, vibing, loving the city. See the rats, what's popping.
Yeah, we're like, how you doing? You were like, subway, not even a problem. I know exactly where to go.
Love it. Love it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, I miss the city a lot. Do you think you'll go back whenever this is done?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I went to the city, what's it called, in late October, the 30th, or week 2. And I went for a photo shoot. It was just going back and, going into like, near pace, walking around. It just felt so good. And I was just like, I miss this. Like, I saw the Chipotle, I saw the smoke piles, just like, there's so much smoke. I miss the smells. I miss it. I miss it so much.
They have such an energy in the city. It's like, it's so hard to explain to people who haven't been there because it's just this whole vibe and this like, it's really an energy thing where you're like, wow, I want to just work like all the time.
I always say that. I said that whenever I walk out my dorm, it's, especially where Pace is situated, it's literally situated next, like you're 3-minute walk away from Wall Street. Yeah. So all of the white collar dudes, the white collar gals, they're all walking around busy. They got somewhere to go. And I feel like I feed off that energy heavy, when especially walking around World Trade and just seeing everyone having something. They're like, I have this direction to go. And I'm just like, yo, that's me. And so this is what I'm all about. I got somewhere to be. So then the vibe in New York it's unmatched.
It's immaculate. It really is. I feel like you and I are very similar. I'm not a big school person. I can't stand it. I'm graduating a year early because I just can't wait to get out of it. I tell people that I work with that it was either you drop out or you just finish as fast as possible. And I ended up doing that instead. But I just love working so much. And there's such a feeling of a pride feeling when you work and you do, you go a step higher, whatever it is. And it's definitely like that in the city. I totally know exactly what you're feeling because I remember that was one of the reasons I wanted to go to Pace is because it was right next to Wall Street and you could feel the energy there.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I think
so
if I wish I could give an award to whoever came up with the concept, the city is your camp. Oh my gosh.
Oh, really?
No better. You can't sell the school better by saying the city is your camp. Oh my goodness.
It's the best thing Pace ever did, honestly.
If I could say anything really, really good about Pace, it's their marketing, top notch marketing. You guys did a great job.
That's really true. That's so true. Because when people are like, well, what do you do? Do you have a campus? You're like, this city's my campus, so bring it on. You're like your little college field, please, nothing.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's really good. Yeah, we should talk a little bit about college as a scam because it's one of my favorite things ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Give me the blurb.
I actually got my scammy blanket here.
I have to order stuff. I've been meaning to do it.
Scammy blanket, shameless plug.
Of course.
Just my scammy blanket.
It's so cute. I love that.
Yeah. So I can just give you a little backstory. Everything has a backstory.
Good.
So the whole scammer university colleges scam thing really started or was birthed end of my sophomore, the end of first semester of sophomore year.
Okay.
We were leaving to go to winter break and the bill was due and I'm looking at the bill just why am I paying so much for this? So I think what really was the thing that made me feel that way was where I was dorming. I was dorming in John Street, and John Street is, has character, but it's not the prettiest of dorms, and
Special. It's a little different.
It has its bright spots sometimes.
Jacob loves John Street. I never have ever lived in John Street before. My first roommate was like, we're not living there. We're living in Beekman. And I was like, oh, whatever. I don't care.
I guess you can say that the high ceilings really sold it.
Yeah, that's fair.
They had the big fridge. That's it.
The big fridge was selling me, honestly.
I remember freshman year, me and my roommate, Kyle, we made notes, and we made a comparison between Beekman versus John Street. And we were like, Beekman has location because it's right next to campus. So, when it's cold outside and we're hungry, you don't have to walk, and then, this, that, and then we were just like, fridge. And then we went right on the thing and we signed up, fridge. That was it.
Honestly.
That sold it, the fridge. And
it makes sense. There was one semester I had 3 other roommates and we all still had that little fridge. Like, I'm in a quad with a mini fridge, and one of my roommates, she's still like one of my best friends to date. She's like so into food, like such a foodie. So we have like avocados like hanging out of the door, like it's just not working. Oh, it was so bad. Yeah, the fridge would have sold me. But anyways, sorry, keep going.
Yeah. So when just outside of the fridge, but really just seeing how I was feeling that semester, I was just sort of fed up with how the school, or how just college in general, 'cause I don't want to, as much as we can talk about pace, this is not just a pace issue. This is an overall system problem. And I think that there's just a problem and flaw within the higher education system in general.
Totally agree.
So I would always say, college is a scam. Like, it's such a scam. I'm paying so much money for what? The college experience. Most of the time, it's not even the real college experience. Isn't really about being in school. It's everything outside of school that makes up the college experience.
That's so true.
So I was like, what are we really paying for? I was like, are we getting gypped? Are we getting scammed? So from there, I was just like, I walk around as a walking billboard because I think that out of everyone I know, I have the most college merchandise. Like, if you look at my closet, you'll see a lot of, Pace University, Pace sweaters, Pace hoodies. I got a lot of Pace merch. And I felt like I was just a walking billboard for them. Like, I'm paying them, I pay for the sweater, I'm a walking billboard. So I was like, you know what? How about instead of me putting, Pace University, I put Scammer University, call them out. And from there, it just bloomed into, I'm just going to wear a shirt that says Scammer, call them out, call them a scammer. And then I was like, I can really build on this. Like, it's bigger than just, feeling mad about paying a lot of money. It's a big system issue. And there's definitely an issue within the higher education system where we are paying so much money for just the name of the university. And at the end of the day, everyone gets the same degree.
Mm-hmm.
So why should I be paying so much money for school when I'm not even guaranteed a job outside of it? My degree, and for the most part, a lot of people don't even go into jobs that they get the degree in. So why am I paying so much money for this?
Mm-hmm.
And we really wanted to just bring attention to this system, really bring attention to a lot of people going into that. I think that if it weren't for the COVID crisis, the next big economic crisis was the student debt bubble. Not too long ago, there was a hashtag trending where it was cancel student debt.
I saw that.
And so clearly there is a lot of feeling about wanting to do something about the way that the education system is. Mm-hmm. So for us, we thrive on using the apparel as a means of starting the conversation. If you see somebody walking around with a shirt that says Scammer University or a shirt that says college is scam, it's intentionally provocative. It's intended to want you to have to start a conversation. It's like, what does that mean? What do you mean college is a scam? And from there, you can talk about my college. You can talk about your college experience. You can talk about how college is a scam, how it's benefited you, and how it's literally open to however you feel. So for me, I felt like, why not make something that I want to wear, and also at the same time make it a conversation piece, and hopefully use these apparel to spark that conversation to hopefully incite change.
Oh, that's so
good. We're here to make a statement and to hopefully change the narrative for a lot of college students. Like, it's not really just about us. Like, it's not us. Like, I'm already deep into it. I've already taken my loans. I'm already in this. It's more so for the next generation, the kids that are going to be coming after us, the next Graces, the next Phils, those that will be going into school trying to make themselves better. Because our message when we say college is a scam, we're not trying to say that don't go to school.
Right.
If anything, I recommend you go to college. It's probably one of the best times of your life. But it shouldn't cost you an arm and a leg to get and gain the insight and experience that a lot of people should be getting.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really here to hopefully bring forth change and get a lot of people make college affordable again. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many people that I know that have gone to school, or a lot of the older generation went to school. I made this joke a few days ago. I said the same loan that people took out for their mortgage, they paid their entire 4 years more than likely. So, and when you look at now, I'm seeing people take out $50,000 loans for a semester. Like, I think that's a problem.
It's a huge problem.
The cost of college is going up, but the sort of money that you'll get with that degree is going down, and there's a bigger issue at hand, and there's something that needs to be addressed.
Absolutely.
Using Scammer University, hopefully this can bring forth a lot of people to talk about this, to hopefully want to see change just like we do.
Oh, yeah.
While also wearing nice sweaters and looking flat at the same time.
The logo, I like the little guy on it too. Yeah.
Get me right there.
There he is.
With the little money bag, taking his money.
He's taking all the money from the college kids. No, it's so true. And I found this out probably months ago now, but the US spends the most money on education, like out of all of the countries in the world. Like we're on the top, 10 or whatever it is. And we're also the lowest ranking on like actual results of education, which is so insane. I don't know if that's for college or just like high school and lower, but like those numbers shouldn't be like this. Like there's clearly something going on that's wrong. And like, I don't know. I mean, I have friends that are taking out insane amounts of money for college. And I'm lucky that like PACE is pretty good about scholarships, but also like PACE's sticker price is insane. Like insane. Like I don't know.
You know, sometimes I was actually talking to someone and she had brought up that, you know, PACE is if out of every school in New York gives the most money out.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're already giving so much money, why instead of giving out all this money, just lower the prices? You know? Like why not just lower your prices and it would even out anyways. So people take out less money in loans for the most part, because we're not speaking for the people that are getting scholarships or the people that are on the lower end of the spectrum that are getting a lot of aid financially or federally, a lot of financial aid. More than likely, they're not paying as much out of pocket, or the people that their mom or dad can sign off that check and they're fortunate and blessed enough to pay off their entire 4 years at once. Or we're speaking for the people that are in the middle.
Right.
Like people that more than likely they're the people that have to take out a Sallie Mae loan for $23,000 for the semester because they couldn't get enough aid. Their parents either made too much because they were at that threshold and they're just like they couldn't.
Right in the cusp.
It's just that's where the system there needs to be reform overall. There just needs to be a complete overhaul of the education system, and we need to start fixing things and really get to work.
I totally agree with you. Yeah. No, it's so messed up. And I also, probably one of the reasons they don't change the sticker price, I was thinking about this, is especially the international kids. I don't know that many international kids, but my roommate's one. I have a few friends, and I know that they pay sticker price, and then I think even more. I think they spend like, I don't know numbers, like the exact numbers, but I know my roommate's probably spending a lot more money on college than I am. And that's like really messed up. That doesn't really make any sense that it's like that. And so, I mean, it's another thing where it's like, wow, they're really just totally scamming us right out of our money. But I also agree that PACE isn't the worst out of all of the schools. It really is a massive problem. I like PACE. I mean, I went there, obviously. I've always wanted to go to PACE, and you and I both are getting a degree there. So.
Oh yeah, like I will always I will always be a setter. I will always be a PACE setter, regardless of however many times I get frustrated with the school. I will still love the school. It's my alma mater. I take pride in being a PACE student. I could talk as much as I want about PACE, but when somebody else starts talking about it, we got a problem. So,
I love that. It's like a brother.
I'm here to ride for PACE, and hopefully they ride for me too.
Hell yeah. I love that. No, it's a great, No, pace, I definitely feel the same way, where it's a bigger problem, but like we don't, pace is fine.
We could talk about pace, but
Right. That's a different thing.
that's for another podcast.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah. No, pace has also done a lot of good too, though, like you said. Like it's just like totally in the middle. But I love college as a scam. I think it's such a great thing. It's such a like wonderful activist movement to have. And especially right now, like during COVID, like everyone's so fed up because it's like, I know I'm spending a fee for like an activity fee for like what activities?
Sure. So for anybody that may, we have a few Creative Origin members because this is a Creative Origin brand actually. So for any of the people in Fairfield County or in some parts of Chicago and Jersey and New York, might find these stickers. This is us. This is our sticker. Did you pay thousands for Zoom University? Make a statement, change the narrative. So we ordered a few hundred stickers, sent them out all over the place, and just have them posted. And hopefully, I don't know if they've worked, but I guess we'll find out.
I wonder if there's a way you can put the geotag so you can see how many people scan it.
I should have done it.
I don't know if that's a thing or not, but we should go into that because that would be a great way of tracking it. But that's all. Yeah, that's awesome. Everyone's so pissed, and like I have a friend that dropped out of college because she's like, I'm not. Actually, I've had many friends that have dropped out of college because of Zoom University. They're like, we're just gonna wait.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah. I personally don't think I could be in school past 22. Once 2023, I'm just like, I think I'm solid on being class of 2022, and if I do go back to school, it's because I want, not because I have
Oh
to.
yeah. No, I totally feel that too. I just don't want to be in school anymore, so I'm like, I got to get out of this as soon as possible.
To get advantage.
Yeah, feels like prison a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah, we're almost done, thank God, for this semester. But
oh yeah, we have a whole
other
semester to go. But I think that, well, for my course load, I try to make the classes as fun as possible.
Yeah,
I can at least enjoy being on Zoom calls. So now I'm just like, I gotta sit there and I'm just okay.
Yeah, I feel that.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to admit my classes haven't been that hard either. I'm actually taking like, because I'm almost done, so I'm taking all these higher up level, senior level business classes, marketing classes. And even like my teachers are just so old school. Like, so they're like, we don't know how to use a computer, so we're going to give you a PDF of the exam or whatever, It's just like, they're just so old with how they're doing it. So it's like, okay, this isn't that bad. Or they're like, we're going to give you 2 assignments for the whole semester. And we're like, all right.
Right.
Even our presentations, they're over Zoom. I'm like, I could have a script right on the screen and just read from it. There's no presentation skills necessary. It's such a joke, but it's also kind of nice. Not gonna lie.
Oh yeah. Take advantage of whatever you can.
Literally.
I suggest everybody take advantage. If you gotta get your A, get your A.
Right.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. And most of the teachers are like, yeah, it's open book, it's open note. Like they're just like, it's kind of just done.
Yeah, unless you're in the medical field, like you're studying to be in the medical field,
yeah.
I don't think that it'll weigh too heavy on your conscience.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah. How do you feel about because I have to start looking for jobs and stuff, clearly something I'm anxious about. How are you feeling about like the job market after your degree and how has COVID affected that?
I think that it's going to be very interesting, and now it's going to be really based on how you really spent your time.
Yeah.
What you do to make the most out of the time, especially during the pandemic. I feel like employers will really be looking for those that push themselves and really challenge themselves when they didn't have to.
Yeah.
So if you're the person, and this is something that whoever's listening, I would suggest that it's never too late to start something. Even if it's, if it's that YouTube channel that you've been thinking about, do it. Start it. Make videos. I feel like for the most part, everyone should have a smartphone with a at least 720p camera. So YouTube will definitely be friendly with how you look.
Right.
So don't be afraid. Make content. Create stuff. Do something to challenge yourself, and not only just creatively. Go help people. I think that employers are looking for how proactive you are,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of if you don't be not being reactive, being proactive. I don't think school will be as much of a factor as much as I got Photoshop, made this is my portfolio, create a website for myself, create a website for other people. I started a business. Those are the small things, and I would really urge for whoever's listening, start stuff. If you've been putting off that blog, start it. Make it. You want something to show for it. Like, this is there's no better time than now to really get started on what you've been passionate about. And I think that if you're someone that's going into the job market, employers will really look at that and be like, you know what? Yeah, you really put yourself out there. You really did something. You really push yourself. And I think that we'll value that for our company. So I think that the job market, while really unsteady, especially in the economy, in perspective of what they'll be looking for, I think that they'll be looking for that person.
Yeah, like what you did with all this time. Because all of us were at home for like 6+ months. So what did you do? Did you sleep and did you just do nothing at all? Or did you work on improving yourself?
TikTok.
Yeah, I think that's so important. Wait, what did you say?
I said, spent all my time on TikTok.
Yeah, honestly, actually
it's
saying
too
that.
addictive. Too addictive.
How addictive. It's like terrible. I want to be a TikToker. That's my next move, I think. Yeah. Whatever that is. No, but yeah, I think that that's really going to be important because I mean, some people like us are going to leave the pandemic and we're going to be like, yeah, I dropped 15 pounds. My mental health is skyrocketed. I have 14 different companies that I started. I have learned 30 different crafts. And we're like, yeah, I mean, school kind of sucks, but here we are. Like, I'm ready to go in. I think that there's two different types of people coming out of COVID, and you really want to be in that part, where people really spend the time to improve yourself.
Definitely. This is I said that from the beginning of the pandemic, I said this is going to be, after the pandemic, this is going to be the next generation of the Apples, the Googles, the Amazons of the world. They're going to come out of this pandemic. Yeah. So I want to be part of that. So I said, you know what? Creative Origin, we're going to build something. We don't know exactly what it is yet, but we're going to build something.
That's part of the process.
Start from the beginning, and we're going to just make stuff and do things that we love.
I love that. I love that so much. Yeah. So all right. So during this time and as COVID's shaped us and we've changed so much as people, what are your dreams? What are your aspirations? What's next for you? What do you feel like is your end goal?
So once the pandemic hit and we were in a new world, I think that the most important thing was legacy. Mm-hmm. And especially with the re-emergence of the Black Lives Matter movement and with social justice at an all-time high, I thought for me as a Black man, I definitely wanted to bring my imprint and establish and build a legacy for not only myself, but for my family, and to bring along a lot of my friends and put them on and bring them so that they can build their legacy for their families. I'm a big legacy guy. I'd love to see everyone flourish and to continue to be successful. That's the end game for me. I'd love to see everyone win. Building a legacy, especially as a Haitian American, I take a lot of pride in that. You can see that behind me. First generation here in America, build something and establish and create for the next generation. So they get inspired and they want to see the blueprint that I laid down, and they want to build on it and say, I saw what Bill Baptiste did, we can do better. That's what I want. I want someone to look at the things that I've done and be like, I can do that and more. So that's sort of big dream of mine.
Yeah, inspire. I mean, I see in your room Kanye West, and he's always someone that I look up to. Kanye. I think he's a little crazy now, but I mean, he's just like a musical icon.
Still my boy.
Yeah, he's just insane. And you want to be someone that inspires other people and other generations. And that's such a good thing. I've always wanted that too, where it's just, I want to make people feel better. Like, I want to encourage growth and change and whatever that is. And just like, I love that. That's such a great, I didn't know that. That's such a great message.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about stuff all the time about futures and jobs that we want, but I've never heard you say that kind of stuff. That's a great aspiration to have.
Like, I would love to see, because as of right now, I don't see a lot of people that look like me in higher positions creating or putting themselves in creating organizations that focus on all of these things. So if I can set that precedent and be a part of a big group of Black individuals that are creating things like this, set the precedent, really show that, if I saw Phil Baptiste do it, I can do it too. And if we can get a lot more of those creatives and a lot like just doing that and then inspiring the next generation of Phils, then that satisfies me more than any money, anything I can get in this world.
Yeah. No, that's the dream. That wins over money. I think money is top tier, and that does win over money.
Like, inspiring the next generation, that's priceless.
Yeah, and I really feel like our generation is the generation that's going to do that too. Millennials were like, yeah.
Gen Z, we have our strong points, but wow, we have a lot of weak points. I think that we're going to work on it. I have a lot of faith in Gen Z. I have a lot of faith in us. I think that we're gonna be the legendary generation.
I agree with you. Well, we've been through it too. I mean, we had 9/11 and the 2008, whatever that was, the recession, and then now COVID.
Oh yeah. I don't think that in the history of the world.
Yeah.
I don't think that there have been as many life-changing events as there have been in the past 20 years. We literally went into the new millennia. What is this? Millennia?
I don't know.
We went to the new millennia, 2000s, with Y2K, the internet boom, and then just the dot-com crash, and then 9/11, and the Iraq War, and the Middle East, and just so many world-changing events have occurred ever since we all, like, our generation was born, like the people born in the 1990s to 2000s.
Yeah.
That I think that we haven't seen so many world-changing events in such a short period of time that this generation's definitely special. We're destined to be special.
We have to. Absolutely.
We gotta do something. It's a waste. Like, no way we can go through all this and then just be like, nah,
we're gonna go to bed.
Like, no way. We gotta
I feel like half of our generation's like that, though. Half of us are like, I think I'm gonna take a nap instead, though.
I feel that. It do be like that sometimes. Really. Like, I can't lie. Like, today I took a nap and I was just like, yo, I'm tired. Like, no way. I just gotta take a nap. And then I woke up and just like, yeah.
Here we go. I feel like every day has a purpose. That's been, especially with COVID, my big thing. Because, like, I woke up at like 12 today, and I don't really sleep in late that much. But when I do, it's like, oof, it's gonna be a long day. And I was like, all right, you just have to do one thing today, like one little project, whether it's something stupid, and then you can call it a successful day. As long as every day matters, that's all that matters.
Oh yeah, I literally love that you said that. How I adopted that mentality, like after the first month of us being on lockdown.
Yeah.
I was up, it was like 7 a.m. I was up, saw the sunrise every morning, and I was just like on Xbox, and I was just chatting, and then you'd be like, yo, the sun's up, word. And then you would go to sleep, wake up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and do it all over again. It was just like, yo, I need to do something. I got to make the best out of this time. So I love that mentality, and I can definitely relate to that.
No, I had the same problem. I don't play video games, but I had the same thing where I watched all of The Office, all of Friends. Like, I've never seen any of those shows until the pandemic. And, like, I just sat and, like, slept and watched TV. And it was, like, disgusting.
That was amazing, though. Like, I think I would love to rewatch The Office with fresh eyes.
Oh, it was great. It was honestly, like, the best time to watch it, too. I think I've hit every iconic TV show. I'm missing a handful of them, and I'll get there. But I don't really watch TV that much, but then COVID hit, and now I'm like kind of addicted to TV, but that's okay. But no, yeah, I had the same thing. And my best friend and I are really, she's big into journaling. I can't do journaling, but she's huge into it. And I remember we used to do social distancing walks right when COVID happened, because we had to, like, I couldn't hang out with anyone because my grandfather's sick. So we had to be like really careful. No one knew what was going on, of course, with COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So like, we gotta be like 100 feet away and walk and outside. Like, that doesn't happen anymore. But, and we were talking, we're like, well, yeah, this sucks. Like, oh my God, this is the worst. And then we both were like, okay, what can we do to make this the best situation possible? Like, we're out of control, because her and I are kind of like a little control freaks, a little bit, not as much anymore, but we're like, we're absolutely completely out of control with this. There's nothing we can do to change it. We just have to like try to be the best us that we can be. And so we just sat separately and wrote down like all these things. Like, I want to, her and I are we have aspirations to be big fitness people. Neither of us, I'm not very athletic at all, but we're like, we're going to get healthy. We're going to eat really good. We're going to do this and that. I'm going to read a book a week. Like, and we've really kept up with it. Her and I have been on each other about it. And it was I'm so lucky to be around people like you, even you, like, who are just want to bring, how do I say this the right way? Like, want to improve ourselves. Like, they're self-aware and you want to be the best you can be. And that's such a beautiful thing.
100%.
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't mean to
striving to be great, being the best you possible is always number one.
Yeah.
Taking care of you is important. Self-care is, I love that Mac Miller song, Self-Care. It's my favorite song. One of my favorites.
You can't talk about Mac Miller with me, I'll start crying.
But like, I'm talking about self-care and taking care of you is important. Really, I didn't realize how much I took myself for granted up until this time period.
Literally.
Where I was neglecting a lot of me instead of putting a lot of, time into everything else, school, friendships or relationships, or just trying to make sure that everything's in order for your future, that you really lose track of you. Yes. So when everything stops and you have to sit in a room by yourself for extended periods of time, really you go into the depths of you, and you just say, like, I love this, I need to work on that. And you really want to avoid getting to self-deprecation and focus on constructive criticism and seeing where this is where I can get better. And if your mindset is just trying to be the better you, then you're definitely doing what you should.
So true. I love that. Yeah. No, I mean, I also felt the same way. I think I almost feel as if COVID was a blessing for a couple of reasons. And to go back into the creative part too, like, I wasn't feeling as creative when I was back at school either. And then, now you have all this time. It's like, why the hell not? But no, I mean, it was almost like, as much as COVID has been so hard for everybody, and it's like such a terrible, terrible thing, seeing the light in COVID almost in a way, like seeing the bright side is such a blessing. And like, I feel like I've grown so much as a person. I've become so much more like educated, and just like my mental health has been so much better. And I know you probably feel the same way. And it's so important. I guess you're right. Like, spending so much time in a room with yourself, you're like, God, I got to do something about this. Oh, it's such a good thing. This has been awesome. I love talking to you. This is like such an incredible podcast. I usually give whoever my guest is a couple of minutes or however long you need to plug yourself, which is meant to be a funny way of saying it. So yeah, plug whatever you want to plug.
Definitely want to plug the Creative Origin here at the Creative Origin. Would love for everyone to support all of our talented creators. I'm gonna shout them all out. Shout out to Bria, shout out to Liana, shout out to Devante, shout out to Amir, shout out to Don, shout out to Franco, shout out to Felicia, shout out to Noah, shout out to, look, you feel bad if I say someone's name last. Shout out to Fred. Oh my gosh, shout out to Fred. Shout out to Kelly, and I think, shout out to Josh Cam. So shout out to them. They are all amazing content creators and just amazing individuals. So through the Creative Origin, Hope you guys follow our journey as we continue to grow. Follow Scammer University. It's all part of the Creative Origin orbit, and we're all in that neighborhood. So more than likely, you follow one of us, you're going to get a lot of everyone else's information and a lot of their businesses and a lot of their brands and what they're doing and everything that they're trying to do to change the world. So would love for you guys to follow along on our journey and keep posted, because we're hoping to make big strides and hopefully change the world in a positive way, because there's a lot of negativity. And if we can build something that's positive and something that can influence and hopefully inspire a lot of others to see that they can do the same thing, then our job is done. We're doing our job.
I love that. And I'll link everything down below. I'll link the Creative Origin, all the people you said. I'll find them and I'll put them all down below. Yeah, and this is now, whoever is listening to this, we have a YouTube channel for Why now too, officially. I think it's just Why Podcast or Why Official Podcast. I'll leave it in the notes as well. But make sure to go subscribe if you want to see Phil and I. And if you're watching this on YouTube, there's also a podcast you can listen to. We got everything. Yeah, I think that's it. So thank you so much, Phil, for being on the podcast. And awesome.
Thank you for having me. It was an awesome time. I appreciate our conversations. You're very insightful, very amazing creative person. And I'm so blessed and so inspired by you and what you've got going on.
Dude, thank you.
You inspire me, and I want to be just like you when I grow up.
Oh, stop it. I want to be like you when I grow up too. I mean, especially with all the legacy stuff. Stop it. Okay.
Thank you so much for listening to the Why Podcast. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at why.official.podcast. If you're interested in being in the next show, hit the link in the bio. Tune in next week for another episode of the Why Podcast. And as always, stay curious. Bye, guys.